Welcome to Coaching Uncut, a special series on the Unstoppable Woman podcast, where I take you behind the scenes and give you a peek into the private coaching I do with my clients. All of these coaching calls have been recorded with the permission from my clients who have generously allowed me to share these with you as a way of helping more people in this world. They give you access to master level coaching and the opportunity to learn the lessons that they're learning right along with them. Please keep in mind that these recordings are not studio productions and the audio quality may be less than ideal, but the content will take you far and help you become unstoppable. With that, listen in and learn. In this episode of Coaching Uncut, we're talking about how your motivation to achieve your tasks and projects and your larger goals doesn't need to come from making yourself wrong or guilting yourself. In fact, if this is your approach and it's sneaky and sometimes unconscious, it'll sap you of energy. Listen in to how Heather works through this and gets a surge of energy and more focus. Also, keep in mind that this podcast episode includes 2 coaching calls with Heather. So know that when we say goodbye after the first call, the recording continues.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm doing okay.
Good.
How are you?
I'm good. So how did you do with the rest of your workshop?
My workshop. Well, so I was just working through some stuff, actually, sort of coaching myself through some stuff because I was really kind of in a bad place. I was feeling a lot of guilt and shame about not doing everything that the workshop was telling us to do. And then I just kind of was working through it, and I realized that I had not fully committed to, the workshop came up really fast. And I was annoyed because it would take 3 full days that I hadn't planned on, but I'm going to try it anyway, and, we'll see what we can do. And a lot of good things did happen. A lot of good things did happen. There was a lot of, spot coaching that was really helpful. And, I took a lot of notes that I thought were super valuable. I mean, the fact that I didn't get on the quote-unquote leaderboard didn't really bother me too much. I just stopped thinking about it and decided instead to just just suck out of the workshop whatever I could. Then I got, what it did was it showed, I got sidetracked, not really sidetracked, but in order to really do that workshop properly, my business would have had to be a little bit more organized. And when I realized how disorganized things are, that was actually part of the value that I got out of the workshop, is that I realized wow, my business, it really did clarify a whole bunch of spots in my business that we fixed in those 3 days. So, I guess I did get a lot out of the workshop itself, but as a byproduct, I was able to just really dig into certain parts and, fix my business and talk to my HTM coaches and stuff like that. So it was like a weird combination of yeah, this is great, but it didn't quite have the results that they intended. I did get results out of it by focusing on care calls and sales and the parts of my business that really needed my attention, and things like block calendaring, and realizing that I can't do it all. I just have to seriously get more organized about my time and commit my time and delegate certain things. It just became so obvious to me, oh, now I get it. There were other workshops that they had done along the way that had kind of solidified it. They had done they call it a hole in the bucket workshop. So that shows you where all the holes in your marketing are. How are you losing people? How are you dropping leads and things like that? So it generated a whole lot of great stuff that really had nothing to do with the workshop whatsoever. At the same time, I was working through it, but I'm that had this huge niggle at the same time. Heather, you're paying attention and you're in, but you're not all in. Why aren't you following instructions? You're doing these other things instead. Are you getting sidetracked? Do these things really need to be done? There you go again. You're going off into the woods. But I don't think I was really doing that though. it's true that I wasn't I didn't sit there like a robot and do exactly what they told me to do, but there was a little bit of a niggle. It's like, oh, are you avoiding doing this by, you're supposed to be building a table and instead you notice what's wrong with the walls and you fix the walls kind of thing. And I think there was a little bit of that. So I dug into that. I took a nice long shower today, and as I was shampooing thoroughly, I thought to myself, and I had something bubble up that I wanted to talk to you about. The thing that bubbled up for me was you're in such conflict about this. There's about care calls and sales outreach calls and things. You're in such conflict about this. What the hell is going on with you? And what came up was there's so many double binds. There's so much. I came up with the perfect word, and I should have written it down. So there's so much. It comes down to do I deserve this? Am I worthy of success? Am I entitled to success? Is success? And of course, the immediate answer was duh, of course you are, everyone is. So, but then I started to uncover the stories that I was having. So, to be rich, it's okay to be rich as a conditional. Ooh, I'm going to write that down. Conditional. I have so many conditions attached to, you and I were talking about unconditional love. What would it be like to have and to give unconditionally, unconditionally giving unconditional love without conditions? And I just started thinking about how many conditions I've got. So, it's okay to be rich so long as you're nice. It's okay to be rich so long as you give it all away. It's okay to be, forceful as long as you're not an asshole. It's okay to be assertive as long as you're not aggressive. It's okay to be, I could go on and on and on. And I think that I would really like to clear that stuff out. This conditional stuff is nonsense. It's complete and utter bullshit. But I let it creep back in. I want to shine a light on that and get that out and somehow, because I think that's standing between me and becoming the person that I really want to be. Is all these ridiculous stories that are really kind of ingrained in there from pretty early on. So I kind of want to get your thoughts about that.
Well, first of all, I think you're doing a great job. Okay, I think you're.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hard. It's hard.
Well, the challenge, I think, when you go into that place of it's hard, and I can feel the intensity behind it, is you're so committed to living, I'm going to call it your highest life, being the person you know you were put on this earth to be, and yet you're conditioned, let's use that word again, you're conditioned to see yourself as wrong. So when you are investigating this, it becomes hard because you're looking at the truth that there is a gap between where you are now and where you want to be.
Right.
And when you see that gap, your conditioning, your programming says, oh, Heather, you're wrong. And you're so committed that you stay with it and move forward, but you're hitting that resistance of wrongness. It actually doesn't have to be a struggle, okay?
Okay.
Okay? And I know it is right now. Been there, have had that experience. I know what that's like, okay?
Okay.
You must go through this, okay? This is a growth step, a learning, okay? But the truth is that you are 100% committed. I know this about you, to your, to being the person you know yourself to be, but you're not yet living. You're seeing the gap. And in that moment that you see the gap, you say to yourself, oh, you're so fucked up and wrong or whatever, okay? I'm putting words in your mouth a little bit, but that's the implication. Because if in that moment you simply said, oh, look, I'm not being the person I want to be, I can change that. There is no struggle. There doesn't need to be any struggle there. But we're so conditioned to think, I didn't show up perfectly for mommy.
Mm-hmm.
She's going to pull the love away.
Mm-hmm.
That must mean I'm wrong because she couldn't possibly be wrong because she's mommy God. Okay.
Right.
Okay. So I must be wrong, and that feels horrible, and I don't want that.
Yeah.
That's the program that's running. But the truth, Heather, is you're smart, you're capable, you deserve everything you desire, and you're doing the frickin' work.
Yeah.
And like, we need to affirm that moment where you see, oh, there's a gap here. I see the gap. I see the gap. I see the gap. It's just a gap. It's just God, source, spirit, the universe calling me forward. That is all it is. It is not a value judgment.
Oh, and if you use the law of polarity, if you see it, the solution is also there.
Correct. 100%.
Okay. Boy, this shit is not easy. I mean, it's easy, I guess, once you get it. But this stuff is, it's really cool. It's almost like popping the hood on your car and seeing your engine for the first time and being like, oh.
And not knowing how it works.
That's how you get power.
Right. But not yet understanding, not being the mechanic yet.
Yeah.
Right? Okay?
Yeah.
But you're learning, you're going to whatever. You're going to shop class, right?
Yes. Right. So it's just a gap, and it doesn't need to be difficult. Okay. Go ahead.
No, you go.
I was just going to say, there's just so much that, I mean, I've heard along the way so many times, there's so many things that get installed. There's so many things that get installed when you're younger that are just not true.
Correct.
It's just not, none of it is, like, much of it is just not true. And starting to see it and pick it apart and just, like, call it Rumpelstiltskin when you see it and be like, okay, yeah, no, that's not right. So let's just figure this out. It's grabby sometimes, you know. If you're not paying attention, it can be very grabby and drag you down, or me anyway.
Yeah.
You know, like the whole thing about feeling wrong. Like really, that's not necessary. Like, let's just skip over that part. Let's just get to the part where we get between here and there. Here's the gap. Let's look at it.
100%. Now, here's the thing, Heather.
Yeah.
You're in this immersion program to do exactly this, which is, because I'm not going to let you make yourself wrong, except to learn the experience of it, okay? Learn from the experience of it. But you're in this immersion program because we want to work in these moments that you are experiencing that are very real, okay? And learn this right in the moment so that you can keep recognizing it, and that then doesn't hold you back. What most people do is they suppress it. They don't deal with it in the moment. They don't recognize what's going on in the moment. Okay? And you are actually here doing the work. And you need to affirm that.
Okay.
I'm affirming it, and you need to affirm it. Okay? Because this is what is required to close the gap and become the person you know yourself to be. And I will tell you that there's a light at the end of the tunnel. Here's the light at the end of the tunnel, okay?
Thank you. That's helpful.
Okay. That you do this enough times. This is like if you're a toddler and you're learning to walk, okay?
Yeah.
You fall down quite a few times before you...
A lot.
A lot, okay, before you learn to walk. Now, no one, the parent at that point is not saying, oh, you stupid child, you've fallen down again. No, the parent just says, here, put your hand on this couch. It'll be support, right? And it keeps guiding the toddler to learn how to walk. And then at some point, the toddler knows how to walk and never goes back, and it's fully integrated. That's where you're at. Most people never get to this place with this kind of thinking and work, but you are doing this work, and you have to be that parent to yourself and affirm, oh, look, I fell down again, but I'm going in the right direction. I'm seeing it. Look at this. Great. What's my next step? Okay?
Yeah. Okay. What's my next step? Well, and in truth, the reason I'm falling down is because I'm doing the work, I guess.
Absolutely. Most people would have blown off that workshop. Most people wouldn't have signed up for it, would have said, no, I'm too busy. They wouldn't have moved mountains. They wouldn't have committed. Okay, even though you only committed part way, I get that. Okay,
Yeah.
But you did commit. Okay, you did show up, and you showed up to learn this lesson, and that's awesome. Fantastic. Well done,
Thank you. Okay, good. I got it.
Okay, awesome.
All right. Happy Friday.
Okay. Thank you. You too.
Thank you.
Have a great weekend. Okay.
You
bye.
too. Bye.
How are you doing?
I'm doing well. I actually spent a good part of the weekend. What we said on Friday really hit me like kind of hard about not making myself wrong, and I just didn't realize how much I was doing that. I did not realize how on a moment to moment basis, when I decided to focus on it, I'm doing it all the time. Like I was anyway. I was just like, I was like floored. I'm like, God, no fucking wonder I can't get anywhere around here because like I'm powering through, but the thing that I'm powering through is this thing. And I spent the weekend, I spent the day on Friday just sort of noting, stopping, noting, stopping, noting and stopping it, and noting and stopping it, like over and over and over again. And then over the weekend, I was like, I just kept on doing it, and I realized where a lot of my stress is coming from, and that it's just, first of all, it was insidious, and then also how much energy I was just sucking into that whole process, not the correcting process, but the being wrong process. Like, wow, like holy cow, like, because every time I stop myself, like I felt like this surge of energy, like a relief, like a surge of energy, like, oh yeah, no, I'm not wrong. Like I'm totally right. Like, like I'm totally right about this. In fact, I make mistakes, but I'm not wrong. Like it was just like it's been a really like that was like I feel like a real turning point for me. And the reason I think that is because I went back to on my whiteboard at work. I have from our VIP number 1. You introduced to me that the triangle. So you have on the left, you have your subconscious mind and your conscious your intellect, and then sort of straight or down is not good enough, which is where I am right now, or where I was, and then up is like good enough. That was like a diagram that we had done for my first VIP day, and that I have to keep telling, and like I have to keep striving for the good enough. And my power statement was, now that I know I'm good enough, what do I need to get to make this happen? So when I started going through the routine of refusing to make myself wrong about something, suddenly I felt like I saw myself inching up to that circle to the top, which is good enough. And it turns out that it might actually be true. I might actually be good enough. I might actually be good enough. So it's just really a great feeling. I haven't had it in years, and I'm sort of having it now as an adult person, and it's just really starting to color everything that I do. I feel more capable. I feel more rational. I feel calmer. I feel just like another layer is just getting stripped of like unnecessary, shit is being just stripped away. So I just wanted to share that with you.
I love it.
Really
Thank
cool.
you for sharing it. And, I tell you this often, but I'm so proud of how quickly you see the tool, take in the tool, apply the tool, have a really radically different experience with it, and then that's your new level.
Yeah.
You do that very quickly. What I love is that you're not in resistance to. You're so committed to really wanting that next level that you're like this. Like on Friday we left off with, this is hard, and today you're like, hey, I'm doing it, right? And that is such a that's a breakthrough. Okay.
Yeah.
That's really good.
Thank you. Thank you for that. Yeah, affirmation. I have to do that too. That's the other thing that I was supposed to do is I have to land. I have to every so often land and say, okay, yes, I did that. Oh yes, that's great. I did that. Okay, that's good.
Yeah, it's very important because you're someone who has a growth mindset, and you're someone who always wants to, better her best and improve, and that can lead to, if it's done in I'm going to call it a dysfunctional way, really proving out the never enough syndrome perspective, whatever right? As opposed to, of course there's more growth. Of course there's more where I want to go, right? That's what life is about, of course. And look what I just did. Awesome. Right? On my path, on the journey. Yeah.
You're so right about it being like that drive can be really destructive. Like that not enough drive, that can be it can take it from me. It can take you to some really weird places, some really not cool places.
It becomes dark, for sure.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah, for
agreed.
Sure.
Okay. Anything specific that you would like help with today?
I'm just going to keep on keeping on and see how things are changing for me. I've got a few things that I need to get done without panicking, right? So that's another sort of side effect of not being wrong is that I can tackle now. I find myself being able to really focus, like truly to focus on one thing and then get that done and focus on another thing and get that done and focus on another thing and get that done. So on Friday when I was going through that exercise, I was able to get through just a series of things that I probably would have been distracted about or walked around the building or whatever, actually tackled them and got them finished so that my weekend was really amazing. And now I just want to continue that. I just want to continue that into my Monday because I have some challenges ahead of me today that ordinarily I would have gone a little sideways on. So, it's about like I have this presentation that I'm going to do tomorrow night and, it needs to be, put together and finalized and, there's just a bunch of other stuff and I just need to just carry on with that sort of methodical thing, just this thing that I'm working on now. Anything specific? No, just that, I guess. I just want to drill that in to be consistent about it because I think has been a super good change for me, like a really good change.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
Really
so
good.
So I think it is just more of that, please. Okay. Like let's just keep going, and there doesn't need to be there. Here's your nugget for today. There doesn't need to be a problem.
Yay!
Isn't that crazy? I mean, we're so like wired to hunt for problems, and
you're so right.
Okay, and there doesn't need to be a problem. So, go have a fantastic day.
Thank you.
Keep doing what you're doing, and I'll talk to you tomorrow.
Okay, perfect. Thanks so much.
Okay,
Amira.
You're welcome. Take care.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you so much for joining us for Coaching Uncut. If you loved what you learned today, please leave us a comment and let us know. We always love a thumbs up or a 5-star review, so thank you in advance for that. And if you want to take your life and your business to the next level and it's time to scale, please reach out to us and schedule a consult at theunstoppablewoman.com/next level. So that's theunstoppablewoman.com/next level. See you in the next episode. Rock it out and be unstoppable.